Welcome to Ask Earl Anything, number 40. And thank you to the show for being to the show today. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for dropping in on the show. I have a few questions. This is my 40th episode. Last week I had a show where I premiered it and it got a little heavy and stuff and got some interesting reactions from some of my friends. I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm not going to go back to that place again. Let's just say this. The community's got to work on the community. So the powers that are the ones that are the fractions, they got to work on it. Not me anymore. Now, life for me is happy and wonderful in so many respects, but there are some things going on. Lots of things going on as far as busyness. And lots of things are going on in my head as far as reevaluating what I do and why I do things. So that's a big part of life as you get older. When you're younger, you just think you're just going to press forward and you're going to get someplace. It's not about getting places anymore. Life isn't about where I go to anymore. It's the journey, how I get there now. So where I'm at now is I have to enjoy everything I'm doing or I don't want to be doing it. So I've been kind of feeling a little lull in watching YouTube videos lately. So I'm not doing as much of that. I was away on a business trip this week and I didn't spend much time doing it. I did answer some questions and stuff, but not spending as much time. Last weekend I couldn't record in here. Was the beginning of my getting my ceiling done in my office actually, and it was the beginning part of that. So I wasn't able to kind of work on stuff last weekend. So what I worked on was, while they were in there tearing stuff apart, it was too loud, you know what I mean? So what I was working on was some compilation videos. I had some fun with that, and I'm releasing those. But to be honest, I'm not really feeling like playing drums and doing videos right now. So I'm kind of in a lull. But Ask Earl Anything warms my heart because I have so many friends that enjoy the show. So I'm going to do this show and see where it goes. We'll see if we get to 52. We make it to a year here. The first question comes from a friend, Richard Stewart. Now, Richard Stewart has been around for a while. I'm Facebook friends with him. And Richard, I just got to let you know something. Richard takes every one of my videos and tries to share it with everybody, and I do appreciate him sharing it. He tries to share it on my wall. Unfortunately, I don't let anybody share anything on my wall anymore. That's a long story in itself. But I do like the fact that you're sharing it with others, and I appreciate that. So thank you for sharing the video. I only put very few things on my wall these days. Facebook, I do very little Facebook too, by the way. But the question he asked was, considering all the kits you've owned, what aspect of the kit is the most trouble as a working drummer? What part of the kit gives you the most trouble? Thanks for your effort. Well, thanks, Richard. I'm not sure which angle you're taking that question. Now, if you're taking it from which part of the kit when I'm practicing and playing do I feel like is the least adequate, like my hands versus my feet, my kick versus my hi-hat, depending on the style of music, you know, sometimes I think my feet are not really where they need to be, especially my right foot. I can't do certain things with my right foot I like to do. If you're talking about the setup of the kit or what I bring to the kit, you know, because the way you asked it kind of could have gone a couple different ways. What aspect of the kit is most trouble as a working drummer? If you're thinking about, like, if I'm taking a drum kit to a gig, what am I thinking about sound-wise or loudness in the room, things like that? To be honest, I've been able to make just about any drum kit I play work for the room I'm playing in. So I have ways to work around sound things. So like snare drums, it's more moon gel, it's more tape, you know, to kill the sound. Kick drums, it's more pillow to get the sound fatter. It's detuning lugs. Toms, it's Moon Gel. Cymbals is playing with a lighter touch. So if you're talking about like the sound being in the room, how big it is, there are certain drum kits that sound better in certain rooms. So I try to pick my kits based on the room I know I'm going to be in too. So if that's the angle you're going, I definitely have criteria I use for getting a good sound in a room. Like a big open church requires a much more muffled kit, where if you're playing on a outdoor stage, believe it or not, your kit doesn't feel like it projects at all when you're outside. When you're outside, you got to keep your kit really lively, and even then it doesn't feel like it's projecting unless you got mics on it. Now, as soon as you put mics on a drum kit, it changes everything, because now the control of the sound goes to the sound guy, if that makes sense. So, I wouldn't say any kit is more troublesome. It would depend on the exact situation and how you deal with it. I did an outdoor gig live last year with my concert tom kit. There's a couple clips of the Swigs playing outside that I've done. They didn't sound great outside, but the reason I played the fiberglass kit was it was raining that day. And I thought we were going to get stormed on, and to be honest, I didn't want my Gretsch kit getting wet. So I brought the fiberglass drums out, and I figured if it got wet, whoop-de-doo, I just wipe them down, no big deal. No harm, no foul, you know what I mean? So sometimes I choose things because of, you know, where the kit's going to be. So, but as far as like playing the kit, I always think my right foot's a little inadequate, to be honest. I think my right foot can be a little bit hipper. I feel like I do some interesting things with my left foot, but my left foot has its crippling things. And then there's sometimes I feel my left hand is pretty weak. Other times I think it's my right hand. So it depends on the day of the week too, what I'm trying to do. But yeah, my right foot for rock stuff sometimes I feel like I just don't have the right foot. But usually I make it work. And the way I make things work in a rock setting, just so you know, is I simplify. So if I can't make a pattern work, like I was doing this song Waiting for the Healing last week, and I was doing that pattern right there, right? So that ba-bum, that little ba-bum, every once in a while gets a little weird for me, like feeling that ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, 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 that part. And what happens on that part for me, sometimes I'll just cheat it with a single. So I'll do. But if I'm feeling it, like if I'm like really in it. I'm saying? So consistency in my foot sometimes is that weird thing that I kind of feel about the kit. So my right foot sometimes kind of throws me a little bit. But usually what I do is I find something that makes it work and I kind of hide it. And I've learned how to hide things, my deficiencies, so to speak. So now I don't know if I even answered your question, by the way. I think I went around a couple different questions there. All right, next question. Earl, I love your videos. What is your opinion on the Yamaha Absolute Hybrid drums? This comes from a guy named Drum Lover, or a girl named Drum Lover. I'm not sure which. Now, the Yamaha Absolute Hybrids, which I believe is the drum kit that was introduced probably 2008 or 9. And it's, is that the Phoenix shell kits? No, those are the Phoenix drums. So the Absolute Hybrids, is that, I think that might be the kit you can actually pick a maple drum for your kick and birch toms. Is that the one? Because like I'm not really familiar with the Yamaha line. I know they had like some drums that you can get like kind of they can mix the woods. Let me say this about Yamaha drums. My favorite Yamaha drums are Recording Customs. Then my second favorite Yamaha drums are the original 1980s Stage Series drums. Now here's why. Yamaha Recording Customs, and the ones I like the best on the Yamaha Recording Customs are the original 1970s, 1980s Recording Customs without the yes mount on it. Why do I love those drums? It's the birch shells. I love Yamaha's birch shells, number one. The other kit, the Stage Series, the original Stage Series, was mahogany. And I think those drums just sound wonderful. I play a set of those at this church I'm playing at lately. And I get those toms that sound so fat and warm. I just love mahogany toms. And I really need to get a mahogany kit one of these days. And if I can find an old Stage kit, I would pick it up. It's good. As far as the hybrids go, I just don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. Yamaha started getting into doing all kinds of different lines, just like Pearl did, changing lugs up and stuff. And the absolute hybrids came in around the same times that Phoenix kit came in. Then they had the absolute maples, and then the absolute birch. And I think the hybrids were, you can mix and match the birch and the maples. Because like there's guys like Paul Lime. Paul Lime likes to play a maple bass drum with birch toms. Even Gretsch likes, I mean not Gretsch, I mean, it's Gretsch. That's funny. Even Steve Gadd likes to play sometimes a maple bass drum with birch toms. That's one of his things too. He's done that too. So there are guys that like the sound of a maple bass drum, but then they want the birch toms, which kind of cut through that Yamaha thing. So I'm not sure about the absolutes. You know what I mean? The absolute hybrids. I'm not sure. Now, if the absolute hybrids is the secondary name of the Phoenix kit, that's a whole different type of wood. They got like 3 woods put in it. And that's a hybrid wood kit that a lot of the pro guys like Weckel have played. They love those drums. I mean, I've never played any of these kits. I've played the Yamaha Recording Customs, and I've played the Yamaha Tour Series, and I've played the Yamaha Stage from the 80s. And I've played the Stage, you know, the Stage, they got a new name for it. My son-in-law's got a Stage kit too. Stage Custom kit. I've played those. I know I've played the lower line birch kit that I just think, anything Yamaha makes with birch just sounds great. So, but again, they do birch right, they do mahogany right. I'm not saying they don't do maple right. They're Yamaha. Yamaha makes really consistently good drums. It's just what you're looking for. But I kind of lost it when it got to absolute hybrids and this. I stopped following it, to be honest. So that's about all I know about Yamaha drums. My next question comes from Brian Corey. Thanks for the question, drum lover. I hope I answered it. Brian Corey asked, Earl, for next week, have you ever played Octobans or Rototoms? And if you have, what are your thoughts on them? Well, you know I've played Rototoms. If you watch some of my videos, there's a couple videos I have with Rototoms. I did a Van Halen cover, Mean Street, and I did Roundabout by Yes, which has got some Rototoms in it. Matter of fact, I just did a compilation, a rock compilation, which will probably come out after the show this week. Which I had some clips of the Yamaha, not the Yamaha, Yamaha, my brain, of the Rototom kit playing Roundabout. You know, the funny thing about these compilation clips I'm doing is you got every publishing company's coming at you now. They're all pissed. Yo, copyright. I got like 10 copyrights for these things. Like, yeah, I know you all want a piece of this thing. I got it. I actually got my rock one blocked on Sunday when I put it up because I left tried to sneak in a little piece of the Bob Dylan one that I couldn't get through that I was going to get a strike on. Boy, they screamed that they blocked it and shut it down and you can't play this video. So I took that clip out and I think I'm going to get this one through, but I won't know for a couple hours. I just kind of took the clip out a minute ago. Anyhow, but I love Rototoms. I have a 10, 12, 14. I'd love to have a 16 and an 18, and I'd love to have the 6 and the 8. But I've been buying my Rototoms one at a time. I bought a 10 this year. A friend gave me a 12, and that 14 was my original 14. So I didn't pay anything for those two. My friend just shipped them to me. It was nice of my friend Pat sent them to me. And they've been sitting around. I use them once in a while. And then the 10, I bought the 10, and now I have like a 5-piece kit. You know, I have 3 toms. And if I can find a cheap enough 8 and 6, I'll buy it. You know. But Octobans, I look at Octobans all the time. I'd love to have a set of Octobans. I'm just not going to spend $500 for them. There's no use for that. But I love the Octobans. I think they're so cool. You can do all kinds of melodic things on them and stuff. But yeah, I think they're cool. Nice stuff to have. Kind of fun. So that's kind of that. So I like them both. I like them all. All right. My next question that I'm going to talk about is from CCM drummer. CCM drummer Matthew. And Matthew was talking to me about Matthew was the one that played Just You and Me, and then I told him I'd eventually play Just You and Me, and I did play it, but I couldn't show it to him because Just You and Me by Chicago got blocked by YouTube a couple weeks ago, and I did a little drum talk on it, and I just gave the drums only version. So he was still in that mode, and he said, Earl, what about other musicians that also do covers, such as guitarists, bassists, keyboardists, vocalists? Are publishers restricting their covers as they are with drummers? Or is it just a weird drummer thing? And the answer to that question is, Matthew, I don't know for sure, but I will tell you that if you put a cover tune up on YouTube of your band, they may tell you not to play it. So it depends on the song. If you pick... Now, if you... Like this Bob Dylan song, What Can I Do For You? I cannot play the original, but I did a version of Bob Dylan's Gotta Serve Somebody from a friend of mine. We did in the studio. So it was my friend Tony Leffler, who I'm playing with this month. It's my only gig in November I'm doing. I committed to it last month. And we're playing that song. But I have a version of him doing it that I re-recorded drums and did a drum cover on. And to be honest, that got through. So they wanted their copyright, but it got through. But I think when it comes to like the original music, a lot of times YouTube will block it. But some Eagles tunes I've heard have been blocked completely. You can't play them. So it all depends on the artist. It all depends on how crazy their publishing company is and what they want or don't want. So be careful. Technically, you should check before you do a video. I never do that though. To be honest, I just throw it up and see what happens. So, but yeah, I think they do it to everybody. It's not just drummers. But YouTube, this is YouTube. You know, what are you gonna do? So, I mean, they're as big as the government, if you ask me. So they have all the control right now. All right, and my last question comes from my friend Mike Frisano, and Mike says, "Great show. That was last week's show. Earl, thanks for doing it. Have you ever tried the 3-ply Aquarian snare drum head?" Yes, 3-ply. Seems to me like 3-ply heads would cancel resonation out and be very dry. He loved my little comment about YouTube as being Nazi tactics or Google Nazi tactics. Genius. Great advice on the honking snare. Thank you, Mike. By the way, I'm a shout out to Mike Frisano. There's not a lot of Mike Frisano videos, but if you want to see Mike Frisano playing, check out the band he's in, Tiger Army. He's in the band Tiger Army. There's a couple, record company style, MTV style videos out there with Mike playing with him. And Mike's a great player, so you got to check him out. I've watched all the Tiger Army videos, okay? He's a really good player. It's a really different band than I thought it was, Mike, to be honest. Because Mike's also played with the band Warrant. He's the 7th drummer and the 9th drummer of Warrant. Not the original drummer. But he's gone out with the metal act Warrant. So he's played drums for them. And if you look at Mike's credits on AllMusic, you'll find he's played on some albums, but most of the things you'll find him there for is drum tech. So when Mike Frisano says to me that my advice about the snare drum was good, trust me, this is a guy that can dial in a snare drum for guys that making hit records. And that I know, because I've had many conversations about some of the guys he's worked with. He works with the pros of the pros in LA. So, Mike, thank you for watching my channel and supporting this channel. I really do appreciate you supporting this show. It really makes my day. Now, I went and researched the Aquarian 3-ply head. Apparently, the Aquarian 3-ply head, and I should have wrote the name down. I looked at it the other night. I listened to it on some tests of it on YouTube. Is 7-ply, 7-ply, 7-ply. So it's 3 7-plies of plastic mylar. Now, a normal Emperor head is 10 mil, 10 mil, which is 20 mil. If you take 3 7 mils, okay, 7 mil 3 plies, that's 21 mil. So it's only 1 mil more than an Emperor head. So I don't think it really affects the resonance from what I could tell. It actually seems to me like that head, it just is a stronger head because you added that 3rd ply. Because they're the thin plies. They're using the thin 7 mil plies of mylar. So, interesting head. I've never tried one. I never thought to try one. I've tried a lot of Remo heads. I've tried the Emperor X. I've tried the, what's the one with the 2 plies of 7 that they've got? I think it's the 14, X14 or something. Ambassador 14, I think they call it. Or maybe it's the Ambassador X, so I'm not sure. Of course, I love the vintage Ambassadors, which is a 3-ply, a 3 mil and a 7 mil, which equals 10. The original Ambassador head was a 2-ply head. The Ambassadors of today, I believe, are a 10 mil head. Okay, so they went to 10 mil 1 ply. So there's been some changes, you know, and the Diplomats, I think, are the 7 mil. So really, there's so many different sounds and so many different variations of stuff. But it looks to me, from the guy who was playing it, it had a lot of pop to it, the head. So it wasn't as super dead as you think, but it's like dead like an Emperor is. Because an Emperor 2-ply is definitely a different sound. This is an Emperor head. You know, it's not super dead. I love Emperor heads, by the way. Coated Emperors on my toms, I love them. But on a snare, I think it's a little much sometimes. Wow, this lug is way back. I knew there was something wrong with this drum. This is a 5x14 Noble Cooley, and it's almost backed out of the lug completely. So now let's hear how the drum really sounds. That's better. Still not there yet, though. I was doing that special mass-off tuning method. Have you all heard about the mass-off tuning method? There's a guy that tunes, like, he's got a certain number of turns you do on each lug, and then you take one back a half a turn, you take this one back a half a turn, this one goes back 1 turn, and then the last 2 lugs go back to, like, flop, and then you get that fat-sounding drum just by messing with one lug. Drum sounds like crap to me today. Oh, there we go. You're saying, Earl, what the heck are you doing? Oh, there's some life. It's a new head. High-pitched 5x14 Noble Cooley 1-ply solid shell, classic, you know, solid shell classic drum, and turn it into like a woofing 7x14. Something about a deep drum just makes you want to play that beat. That beat just kind of goes with that. Anyhow, thank you, Mike Frisano, for the question. I know I just went somewhere else, and I'm going to leave it all in. You know, that's my new thing. So, anyhow, thank you for watching Ask Earl Anything. I appreciate all you that watch the show. Yep, I dropped the stick, but I have another one. And thank you for watching the show. Please like and subscribe. Please ask questions. I may go once every other week eventually at some point with this show. But I wanted to do this show because I had missed Richard Stewart's question the week before. And Mike Frisano asked a question, which he doesn't do all the time. And I had 5 questions. So I did the show this week, even though I was tired and I'm feeling it from the trip this week. Even though I had a great trip, I'm just feeling it this week. I'm kind of feeling that kind of like lull thing. But you may see me skip some weeks here. Just don't be offended. But I'll eventually get back on track. Thanks for watching Ask Earl Anything. Have a great day.